Welcome to Burning Metal, Shooting the Breeze, episode 17. In this episode, I'm joined by Chris Ryan of Party Cannon. How are things, man?
Yeah, not bad, man. Going on. How you getting on?
Not too bad now, and thanks for coming on, man, because I've started this podcast now this year, and I've been just been focusing on Irish acts. And it's amazing for a band of your stature to be the first UK band. Like, cheers, thanks for doing this, like.
Oh, it's all good, man. Thanks for asking me on. Like, it's nice that you want to have us on. People want to hear from us. That's all good.
And we won't beat about the bush. Unfortunately, this was initially supposed to happen last Sunday for a planned tour of Belfast and Dublin that was supposed to happen this weekend. But unfortunately, the Irish government, they just want to get into the whole Christmas spirit and close everything down at 12 o'clock, pure fucking gremlin style, all out at the same time. Yum, yum, It's ridiculous.
That's a bizarre one, man. It's a bizarre one, man. Like, Johnny, the guy, organised the business meeting, right? So, the Dublin gig would be given a curfew of 10 p.m. to 12.
Yeah.
It's like, how does that work? Who wants that? Who does that benefit? Like, how is that? I mean, it's a whole thing. But we'll get back next year. And, Johnny, if you're watching this, I will confirm those dates with you very soon.
Yeah, Johnny at Shizna and Robbie and Eddie at Southern Strike Records, like they're doing a lot of good things now. The book raised by Owls as well for next year, so it's great to have lads like that bringing over UK talent and just giving them a bit of a push in the Irish scene.
Yeah, definitely, man. And Johnny seems like a pretty legit promoter as well, so it's good to have someone of that kind of stature and that kind of like just standing like helping out with the underground scene, kind of pushing it to kind of big audiences, making sure more people are likely to come to the gigs and see these acts. Quite a lot of promoters in like UK is like people like me. I'm just underground. I just talk to underground guys. So trying to get like a kind of more bigger exposure, like kind of wider audiences. It's good to have those kind of people involved.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's an exciting time for Party Cannon. I know you've had a few unfortunate setbacks recently. We've already touched on Ireland, and of course, you got pinged at Bloodstock, which we had a brief little chat about this. Like, that was fucking just heartbreaking shit, like big lot of Bloodstock, and then you just told at the last minute, sorry, it ain't happening.
That was rough, man. That was pretty terrible. Like, on top of just not playing the festival, I knew how many people were excited to see our set. I felt like, especially after especially after the whole people are really excited to get back. Bloodstock's going to be the first big event, not after COVID, but like since COVID, because obviously COVID's still happening. Like the BBC wanted to shoot a documentary involving us as well. There's this podcast called A Gay and a Non-Gay, and the guy who's the non-gay on that podcast is a big metal fan. So he's taking the gay guy over to experience metal, and PR person from the BBC and they mentioned be like, so the gay guy really wants to see your band because he finds the logo really interesting. So we're going to talk to you about like inclusion in the scene, interview for his documentary. It'll be shown on BBC Three and things like that. I was like, oh fuck, that's amazing. That's like right up our street as well. That's gonna be amazing. So there's that. I was getting like daily messages from people being like, I've stocked up on Flitwills your set. I bought a ticket to Bloodstock just to see you guys. At the festival, like when it started, I was getting like lots of pictures of people in Party Cannon merch. People like there's a whole group of people from Scotland as well, being like, we've set up a camp just to people see Party Cannon. Everyone's coming. Like we're all like, going to make sure we're not too fucked for this one set. It's just gonna be mad. Then obviously 2 days beforehand, the drummer's like, got COVID. If it was any other member as well, the gig.
Yeah, true. Actually, he got away with it. If he could get down to guitarist, wouldn't he? He'd have been able to work it like.
Yeah, so even if I got COVID, you could play that bass player. If our vocalist got COVID, we could obviously it wouldn't be as good, but we could get someone to step in. Like I know playing a vocalist who would want to do that, and they could at least to have an attempt to learn it. But obviously drums, since it's so physically demanding, it's so niche as well. Like learning those kind of songs in like 2 days' notice, that's not going to happen. That's absolutely not going to happen, man.
But look at on the more back to the positive side with the future of Party Cannon. You had a big moment at Damnation, like that was you packed stage at 2 o'clock in the day, like.
I couldn't believe it, to be honest. Like I'd never expected to play Damnation in the first place. Like I was talking to Gav about this. I didn't know Gav, the organizer from Damnation, lived in Paisley and was Scottish. So as soon as I found that out, I was like, oh, fuck, I've probably met this guy 100 times and not known who he is and just made an arse of myself. But, yeah, Yeah, like he was hyped I was on. The festival seemed really hyped I was. Like they did a whole run of merch with Party Cannon logos on it and
Yeah.
stuff. People seemed like people were really into it as well. Like we played to about 1,600 people.
Yeah.
It was rammed. Like people couldn't get in. People were getting turned away at the door
Yeah.
trying to get in. I was like an absolute sweatbox. Like I signed as Gab as well. I've always had Damnation down as being kind of like a doom, old school death metal, kind of post rock type fest. So it always looked good. Like, the lineups always looked great and stuff. They had bands like Big Destroyer and Carcass on like previous years. Even Opeth, quite like Opeth, so that'd been fun. But I never kind of seen a band like us playing. I know Dying Fetus and Distant Doom played one year, but it was like a tour package, and of course, like all Dying Fetus, we sound like Dying Fetus. Dying Fetus are obviously Dying Fetus. They can play anything they want, and we won't be able to play just because they're one of the biggest bands going. So when I got asked to play, I was like, "Oh, this is actually happening." Like, Gabriel posted me like, "Right, we've lost all these American bands. We've lost Incantation, Blood Incantation, Abigail Williams, things like that. Who do you want to see play?" And people just flooded, being like, "Get Party Cannon on, get Party Cannon on." I was like, "Why would someone want Party Cannon to replace Incantation?" As I mean, I like Incantation. That'd been awesome. I'm really happy people asked us to play, but I didn't really see in the overlap. I can't see the Venn diagram where Incantation fans, Party Cannon fans kind of meet in the middle. Like even said on stage, like apparently we're here to replace Incantation, but it went really well. I was really surprised at the turnout, not only the turnout, but the reaction we got as well. We had like Walls of Death, crowd the whole set, and still got a lot of merchandise. Like it just went down really well. I felt we played really well. The festival itself was so smoothly ran as well. I've played all over the world from giant fests to fucking little pool halls in the Philippines and stuff. And I'd say Damnation like was the most efficient festival I've ever played. Like there was no struggle with setup. There was no one rushing. The sound people knew everything was going on. It's like it just sounded great on stage. I couldn't believe it. Like usually when we play fest that big, like we played Bury Death Fest in 2015. That was our first really big gig. That was in Oakland, California, and it was 1,000 people. I Everything went wrong as soon as we set up. I plugged a bass in, nothing but static came out. Fucking drummer's kit was like falling over and stuff. Like a guitar, so they couldn't like get shit. It was a nightmare. Like, we still played, it still worked. We managed to fix it like on the end, but that is the kind of experience I was expecting. Just the Party Cannon curse, just to kick in. But no, we got there. We were even early. Like we were considering starting like 5 minutes early because everyone was set up. Like this never happens. Something is going to go wrong. But no, it's all good. I couldn't believe it. I'm overwhelmed with how well that went. I can't thank Gavin enough. Gavin, Paul enough for putting us on as many times. Definitely in my top 5 experiences of life. We got some really good reviews. We ended up being in Kerrang and things like that. Couldn't believe it. And I think a lot of new people discovered the band that way as well. So hopefully those will come back to us in a nice way. We'll end up on some nice, bigger slots in the UK.
Yeah, it went really well, and Gavin done a great lot of promo, which as well. Like even put the color Party Cannon logo on the poster, which he never does. Like,
oh, that was awesome! Like just wait to get into that.
Of course, he had the Damnation T-shirt with the Mank thing wrote on it, and he even gave you praise the next day, saying he'd never seen people beating each other up with inflatable sharks at 2:00 in the day before Damnation.
Yeah, I think that's definitely Damnation first. I don't think bands often bring inflatables there. I can't imagine Electric Wizard or anything bands like that. No disrespect to Electric Wizard, but I don't think we're the same type of bands.
Yeah, the thing about Party Cannon is like all the stuff with the inflatables you bring and everything. If most death metal or slam, whatever you want to call it, done that, they'd be fucking hated. Like, but people have just absolutely jumped on this whole party thing.
Yeah, totally. Have you ever been to the Extreme in the Czech Republic?
I was going to ask you that. Have you ever played that festival?
We've not played it yet. It's never kind of lined up. Like we've had the kind of offer there and stuff, but it's always been like, oh, someone's away, we're already on tour at that time. But obviously the band is quite tailor made to play that festival. Anytime I've been to like a big festival in Europe, there's always been like even before I was at Party Can, people just want to go to slam gigs and gore grind gigs. It's like party and walk in a circle. People come dressed up and things like that. It's like, oh, this is amazing. This is why I want to start this band. It's like the music is really serious. It's like good music stuff, but if people are aware of how silly and over the top it is and just kind of want to have a fun time. So that's kind of cool why we brought. So come with inflatables, people bring their own, crowd surf, just dumb shit. Like, yeah, it's all good. It's all a good vibe.
If there was ever a band that would suit that fest, it'd be Party Cannon. I'd say it'd be just absolute fucking mayhem if he got on that stage because they've no barriers or anything. Like it's just complete free for all. Like
Yeah, I've been before. Saw Golax play there, and that was, that was quite something, man. Golax, Future Pile, all that was fucking nuts. That was like the dream.
Yeah. I remember I seen the Rotteds video of them played there as well, and the little kid up on stage crowd surfing and everything. It was just, oh yeah, it'd be a great one for you to play. But
Oh, definitely, man.
of course, you've recently released a new track on oh, geez, what's the name of it again? She's nauseating and unpalatable. She's like brain freeze there. And
But man,
it's going well, and you released the video there during the week, the playthrough with all the cats. Are they all your own cats, or did you have to get the lend of a few cats for it?
so there's a place in Edinburgh called Mason de Moggy. It's Europe's first, or at least the UK's first cat cafe, I believe.
Yeah.
And yeah, so basically it's just a place in Edinburgh where you go in and you can hang out with cats and get like drinks and cakes and stuff. I remember thinking, oh man, I'd love to film something here because it's like 10 to 20 like really expensive like luxury cats that are all really friendly because obviously they've been like handled with humans and stuff. Like this would be a great place to do a playthrough because I like playthrough videos, but they are quite boring if you're not like a musician. If you're not like playing that instrument, so cool. We need to find ways to make this more party canon and more interesting to like people who only like music and things like that. 'Cause often I go watch a playthrough video, cool, yeah, that's fine. I've seen the guy play a note, that's fine. I can turn it off halfway through, but like, oh, he just threw surrounded by cats. That might be good. I was kind of hesitant about mentioning as well, like, hey, can my Death Note band come in your cafe, please? If anyone on Instagram, I found out they shot like nude calendars and stuff in there. Like, oh, what the fuck? I'm sure my unplugged guitars are less harmful to the cats than exposed genitals. So I saw a message. Like, yeah, cool. This sounds amazing. We're definitely down for this. They're really accommodating. Some of them had heard of the band before and stuff, so it was good. It was cool. It was fun. They're a good experience. It's definitely unique. I can't think of any other death metal band that's play through in the Cat Cafe. We've got another playthrough coming through as well. We filmed a drum playthrough in our mate's gym. He let us in after hours, so we've got a good video coming out soon of our drummer playing just surrounded by gym equipment. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, if any other band in your scene tried to do that or had done that, they'd be just laughed at. But everyone just the party cam, everyone's like cats and party slam. How can it get any better? Like,
Yeah, I told him I'd say good combo.
and of course, you have the new album coming out in January on Gorehouse Productions.
Yep, that's coming out. It's Volumes of Vomit. Second album was only taking us. First album came out in 2015, so I think this will be a 7-year gap between albums. That wasn't on purpose.
Yeah.
It just kind of worked out that way. So obviously we released like an EP and a split between that time. Every time we've gone to work on an album, we've always got like a good tour offer by then. Or cool. If we're playing this tour, we need to have something new out. If we're still working on an album, the album's definitely we're going to either rush the album or it's not going to be done in time. So I'd rather just do something smaller, get that out, then go back to work on the album. So it's been like a process of like halfway done the album, got offered a tour in America. Go, let's just turn what we have into the EP, ship that off, start the album again. Like, okay, cool, got a tour of Asia. Let's get split out before then. Okay, right, back to square one in the album, that kind of thing. So it's more about like making sure we have something fresh for all the big gigs. Just keep it kind of relevant rather than just listen to the same material. Because our first album, like it, like guys, with the learning experience stuff, I did not go the way we intended. It doesn't really sound like what we really wanted it to sound like. So I'd rather people hear tasters or smaller sections of what we envisioned the band sounding like, rather than just a 7-year gap of just that one release.
Yeah, I've noticed with the one track you've released so far, the mixing of the tracks is a bit different. The drums are a lot more subtle than in the past. Like the drums were very prevalent in the mix in your older material, but the drums seem to be more. They're still in there. You can still hear them perfectly. But I don't know. I think your overall sound is a bit more polished because you are kind of. I wouldn't say you're breaking into the mainstream or anything mental like that, but you are kind of leaving the slam scene a bit. You're kind of going a bit more out there, so maybe it made more sense to kind of smooth it off the sound a bit. Would that make sense to you?
Yeah, I'd say in a way like it's not really on purpose. I think we just we recorded it better, so therefore it sounds a bit more polished, but it's still quite. It still sounds live in my opinion. So that's the kind of idea we're going for. We want it to sound like live, raw to a point, but still produced enough to kind of sound like an album. So when we recorded the first album, we fucked up every single step Every step we did went wrong. It was a fucking disaster.
An old technical issue there, unfortunately. We were talking about the album, but you said to yourself that the last album was a bit of a mess, but everything has been kind of righted the wrongs on this one anyway, going forward anyway.
Definitely, man. So the first time was a learning experience. Rob, the guy who mixed it and stuff, he's a saint. He's amazing at what he does. He did a really good job of what we gave him. What we gave him was terrible. So yeah, so basically, we're really underprepared, really underrehearsed. I like the songs on the album. I think the songs are good. Just our performance was not that good. So there's moments where the songs have been rehearsed really well. They sound good. Then there's like kind of songs later in the album that are kind of newer, like a mess. The drum sound didn't quite turn out the way we wanted. Like we wanted like a high pitched snare drum, but we didn't want it to sound like that. If that makes sense. Yeah, it was a learning curve. We knew what we need to do going forward, how to record better, things to do, like how to practice the songs as well. Because we weren't really practicing the click track. We just put the click track together in the studio when we did the first album. So going forward, we just decided on all the clicks while rehearsing, rehearse it to that click, and just things like that. Just kind of some things, how to get the guitar sounds we want, how to get the drum sounds we want, different ways to record vocals. We sent him the vocal track, and the guy's like, so there's a lot of like kind of hard feedback and resonance on this. It sounds like it's been recorded in a kitchen. Like, that's exactly where we recorded it. How did you know that? That's fucking insane. But no, I'm pretty happy with how, I'm really happy, in fact, with how the latest stuff sounds. It still sounds live, but still has some good production value to it. It sounds like how we played it. The guy we went to is York in Sound Lodge Studios in Germany. That's basically his vibe. He's like an old school metal rock guy. He's all about making the band sound like in a room while giving that kind of like album production. So he's worked with like Anvil, bands like that. There's a good video online of Lips from Anvil list to one of our songs in that studio. It's just fucking random. But he also did bands like Defeated Sanity and Despondency, which are like my favorite bands, like some of the biggest influences on Party Can. And their whole vibe has always been tight, live, raw sounding, but still album production. So that's what we kind of want to go for. Yeah, so overall, I'm pretty happy how it's gone. I wouldn't say it's over polished. There's definitely bands in our scene that do the whole hyper production thing, and all those bands are good. I'm not really into that sound, like the whole computer drums, plug-in VST guitars, type like that, like super compressed vocals. Like I still like the music, but just the production's not really for me. I like things that sound like humans. It sound like people in a room. So York felt like the right guy, and he was also very patient with us because while I'm saying we got a bit better, we're still not very good at recording a lot of strong point. Also, recording this album was a fucking nightmare because our practice, right? We were meant to go to Germany to record it, but then COVID stopped that. So we had all the travel booked, all the time stuff booked, and it kept kind of going one way and another. It's like, cool, I'm just going to hold on to this until we find out definitely what's going to happen. So at the very last minute, they changed restrictions again, and we couldn't go to Germany at that point. So we had to find another studio in Scotland to track things and send it to York to be mixed remotely. So we got ready to do that. We're about to enter the studio, but then we're like, let's go practice some more. Then the roof of our practice space caved in, and we couldn't get to our gear for 3 weeks because we weren't allowed in. So our drummer was like, right, we definitely need to delay this album. And I can't believe that had nothing to do with COVID. It's just an actual fucking weird act of God, just crushed like a practice space. So yeah, so we had to kind of delay it a bit more.
Was the gear all right? Like,
yeah, it was all fine. It was fine. I wasn't actually in our practice space. It's kind of like the hallway around it.
Oh
so
yeah, you're right.
Actually get into it. Yeah, then the power went out for ages. God man, it was a whole thing. The guy who ran the practice space was not in. It's just yeah, there's a whole thing. Like we eventually had to kind of stealthily go in and.
Yeah. All right, and we had to kind of swap over devices there. We've had a few gremlins here tonight, to put it mildly. The old party cannon curse, as you called it, kicked in.
Yeah, it should be okay now.
Yeah,
Like,
we were
people might
touching
be
on the
wondering.
album, but kind of one thing I would like to say is how did you come? I know Carlos Mata really has his ear to the ground with Gorehouse Productions, but how did you get on Gorehouse Productions originally?
So we released Party in Half, our EP, originally in 2013 through a UK label called Autopsy Records. They were quite a small scale production, like They did like 50 copies, I think. We got like 25, and we thought it was like an amazing deal. And I was quite happy. They did a good job for us to pay for some promo and things. But, when I started getting kind of some kind of traction, when people started listening to artwork and stuff and listening to songs, they saw me sharing on songs and stuff. I was in Mesh's Facebook page, like all around his label, interested in reissuing Party and a Half of like your demos and stuff on it. And if that does well, I'll send you for an album, a few album deal. Just kind of went from there. Like, he showed us conditions and stuff. Seemed really good at the time. It still is. Like, we're still enjoying working with Carlos. It's done really well for him. As we've done better for him, he's given us better deals with the albums. So, yeah, it's always been enjoying. He was really helpful in setting up our first American tour as well. Yeah,
obviously, I don't know him personally, but I've been connected with him on Facebook for years now, and he just seems like a really good guy. Like,
oh yeah, he's a good guy. He's really, really down to earth. Like, he's been in the scene for a while. Got a lot of good connections then.
So you've got the vinyl pre-order up as well now too?
I think so. Maybe. It's definitely up on an American shop anyway, but of course, being fucking Party Canada, it's getting delayed. So I think Rising merch should have it up now. But I put it up the other day without really checking the link. And they're like, where's the vinyl? Why are the shirts sold out? I was like, the shirts should be sold out. They're pre-order. That defeats the point of a pre-order if they're sold out. And it's like, the vinyl should be there. Like, so I went online and turned out there's fucking some issue with Rising, but it should be started now. If the vinyl's up, if the vinyl isn't up now, it should be in like a day or so.
Yeah.
But yeah. It's gonna be our first vinyl as well. Like, people have been asking for vinyl for ages. We've been wanting to get vinyl done for a while. And there's like a worldwide shortage of vinyl at the moment. So it might be a while till it comes out. But when it does come out, it sounds really good. The way the album's been recorded and mastered as well is going to sound really good on vinyl.
Great stuff. And I think it's probably the right time for the vinyl now, because you kind of have stepped up a lot now in the last couple of years. You know, you're getting a lot better known internationally and nationally and everything else. So maybe in the past it might have been too early, but I think now is the time to really kick on. I think in every regard, be it merch across the board, like.
Yeah, definitely. I think vinyl is more of a thing now as well. Like, when we first started, it's a bit more expensive to print because not as many people were buying it. So I think now that it's kind of come, not trendy is the word, but people have started collecting it again. It's kind of had a resurgence. It's kind of more financially viable. People more likely to buy it, and more places are pressing it. And especially with this kind of music, since it's so kind of intense, it's quite hard to put on vinyl. People know how to master it a bit better, like fucking trigger kick drums and stuff like that, and fucking gravity blast and shit. So it's not really something that's usually been on vinyl, but it'll be good. We're going to reissue our old stuff on vinyl as well. So we'll have Party and a Half in a big vinyl and have a confetti like colored disc as well, which would be awesome.
Yeah, it's another thing with Party Canada is we've got the logo, like it. You can see you see a festival and it's just like you don't know who's playing, and you see Party Canada in the middle of it. Was that your overall plan, or was it an accident? Just
pure accident, man. Like, accidental marketing genius. It got really out of hand, to be honest. From what it was originally as a concept, just kind of thought it was funny. It kind of fit like a vibe. Because when we started, we like Bro the Apple Band, got sponsors like Defeated Sanity, Devarment, Gorgasm, bands of quite serious lyrical matter. But we also like equally as much like bands like fucking The Afternoon Gentleman, like Spaz, like Power Violence bands, fucking Despise You and things like that, Charles Bronson. And their kind of approach to things, while they play quite brutal punk music, they're also a bit more kind of tongue-in-cheek, a bit more to do with real life. Just kind of, they weren't like jokes, but it definitely had that kind of humor to it. So that's kind of what we wanted to incorporate into death metal. And there's other kind of death metal bands doing that, like bands like Gut Rot, or there's a band in Glasgow called Blob for a while, who were kind of like unintentionally the prototype for Party Cannon, because it was the same idea, just they never really went too far like we did. So yeah, so when we started writing lyrics, started writing song titles, it was all kind of a bit more to do with real life, kind of based in rooted in reality. It wasn't really about like killing women, it wasn't really about fucking demons or anything like that. It was more about TV shows we liked, things that happened in our life that we thought were funny. You could write things up, and then just someone mentioned the term Party Can in like a story. I just thought that concept was quite funny. So cool, we'll just call it Party Can. It sounds like the African Gentleman, sounds like Weekend Naturals, that kind of idea. then when you say Party Can, you just kind of imagine like a logo like that. So we just kind of went that way. It was never like we'll do this to be countercultural or anything like that. We'll do this to piss off like elitists. Because I mean, it's not really like I like all the same stuff, all the fucking elitists. Like all my t-shirts have fucking splatter logos on it and stuff. I like that kind of music. So yeah, it was accidental genius because it went from something we're doing in the bedroom to several universities in the UK now cover our logo in their marketing and design course. A few marketing magazines have written articles about our logo. Fucking what else was there? Marketing Today or whatever it's called had this big article called "Be More Party Can in Your Business," and it was just kind of your typical kind of you need to stand out in the marketplace to be noticed, and it was just like showing like our logo. It was like, look at Party Can and this logo. A guy included on his TEDx talk in Glasgow. Like I remember TEDx came to Glasgow and I was like, oh, there's not really anyone there I'm like too interested in, but phones that are blown up and like this guy is talking like Party Can, like no one knows who it is. Like there's this little known death metal band called Party Can, and everyone in Glasgow, what the fuck? They're like from down the road, and he just got like the poster up and stuff. Like this is mad. This is mad as fuck. Where else did it? Like it's been in the Independent and things like that. So I got interviewed by BuzzFeed and Independent about the logo like in 2015 when that whole kind of thing went viral. It was really weird. Independent got my name so unbelievably wrong. Like my last name is Ryan, Ryan. You're from Ireland, you probably know a lot of Ryans. People in Scotland and the UK know a lot of Ryans. So they didn't even mishear my name. They didn't go Lion, Rian. They put my name down as Chris Kraft, Kraft.
What?
Yeah, I know I've gone from the logo to the Independent getting my name wrong, but I just think this needs like looked at. I think this needs addressed. How did that happen? Like, the who am I talking to here? Oh, it's Chris Ryan. Chris Kraft. I've got it. Perfect. Oh, fuck, man, it's so weird. But yeah, so basically the logo is taking on a life of its own. There's people who know the logo, know the band are, never listened to death metal in their life, don't know who Devourment are, probably seen us on a Lad Bible post. I think some people have said to me in the past, oh, people only book your band because they want your logo on the poster.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's true, right? Nobody's going to book a band just because their logo's good. No one's going to pay your flights over to a different country because they like your logo. But if that was the case, if people were just booking the band because they want a logo on the poster, it really sucks no one else thought of that first. So can I say that?
Yeah, it's amazing, like that, all that, like the death metal band from Scotland can just for a logo could reach that level of attention, like, and it's a bit like what's their name? Crap, Fetal Juice back in the day when they had the video with the Toff like character going to their gig, like.
Oh,
You know,
that was like a BBC program. That was
yeah.
that was made in Chelsea. I was actually watching it the other day. Few just played Glasgow, scored not long ago. It's like I'm good friends with the guys with Few just, and I hadn't seen them in ages. So I was just showing people that video. Like, oh fuck, I'm going to see this band. You need to watch this. This is actually amazing. Because I know a few people who aren't into death metal, but they're into like Made in Chelsea and Noise Essex and things like. It's like, watch this. This is the band I'm going to see tonight. Like, fuck, that's insane. That's actually happened. Do you know the band Crepitation?
I don't know.
All right, I'm about to go on a big tangent here, so stop me anytime you want.
I'll go on.
So, the singer from Crepitation, Mark, was in a band called Amputated, who were quite a big band back in Death Metal Circle back in like early 2000s to like in the late 2000s. They were on a BBC show called Sing of the Enemy, where basically what BBC Three did was they got two different bands from completely random genres to live in a house together. So it was Amputated, who were like a gore grinding band at the time. Like literally, like their songs are about like fucking eating shit and fucking babies and things like that. It's insane. Like insanely offensive material to be on the BBC. Like, and they're sharing a house with a pop band who had members that went on to be in the Saturdays. So people who went on to be like A-list celebrities in the UK shared a house with Amputated, and he had like to write a song together. And yeah, so it's just mad the kind of things that end up with the BBC sometimes. So it's just insane to think that happened. So few Jews Amputated, and it was going to be Party Can, but then we pulled up Bloodstock.
That's a shame, but you've touched on punk bands there briefly a minute ago. Well, like one band I booked them years ago, Arno Core. They called the logo says Arno Corps, but they're known as Arno Core. I assume you know of them. You do?
Yeah, my old band actually played a gig with Arnold Corps.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's like Marine Corps because the Marine Corps is spelled CORPS.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, and they're interesting. They're still going. They're
Oh, they are. Yeah, they are. And no, that's why I think that a Party Cannon gig is the closest I've ever seen to an Arno Core gig because the crowd
yeah,
interaction and the stuff that goes on with the inflatables and even lads doing push-ups in the middle of the floor. The only time I'd ever seen anything like that before was the Arno Core gig I ran back in the. Well, I've seen them a few times, but
that's
it's just
right.
you just got your own thing, the two of you going on. And you even if you're not really particularly a fan of the music, this is just going to be good crack tonight. Like,
Yeah, totally, man. It's like if you want to see Arnold Corps, you know it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be dumb. It's gonna be fun. Which one you want? That's okay. Fucking who goes to a gig like? Just go to a fucking black metal gig if you want someone else, man. But yeah, no, I saw Arnold Corps like 2006. My old band played them. It's a really weird lineup. So my old band was like the typical thing you'd form when you're like a teenager and just go into metal. It was like melodic and techy and like was like sweet picking and things like that. Sound like Testament and Black Diamond. And we kept playing all these shitty pay-to-play gigs where it's like sell tickets and stuff.
mm-hmm.
So eventually the guy who kept getting those gigs went, so you keep selling us tickets, I'll put you on like a bigger gig. He's like, oh fuck yeah, is he gonna put us on Earth? Is he gonna go with like Chimera or something? Yeah, I've got this band called Arnold Corps. They're like an Arnold Schwarzenegger themed band. Like, oh, fuck it, cool, we'll play that. And I thought about a pretty good gig, man. Like they're really fun. Like those guys were cool as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but now you mentioned it, the gigs are kind of similar. Like looking back, I'm kind of getting vivid flashbacks of it because I've not like thought about it in a while. There was a lot of people like boogie boards, like going across the stage and stuff like that, and it was like inflatables. Yeah, people doing push-ups and squats and shit. It's like, yeah, cool, man. That was actually pretty good.
Yeah, because one thing I'll tell you about Arno Core back in the day when they've done their first Irish tour, I know people went out to dinner with them.
Oh, really?
Before or after the gig, but they never broke character all night. Even in the restaurant staff, they never fucking broke character the whole night. It's like the dedication these guys have.
Yeah, man. I went to this thing. It's like a black tie dinner with Arnold Schwarzenegger. You pay like $100, £100, and you get to watch Arnold Schwarzenegger interviewed in Edinburgh. But you get to have like a dinner, and he's there while having dinner and stuff. That was fucking amazing. And he was like Arnold Schwarzenegger the whole night. Like he was like shouting catchphrases. He was fucking getting pictures with people. He's like flexing everyone and stuff. So that was very cool. But I can't believe Arnold Corps, like a touring band, just did that and stayed.
Yeah,
I never fucking heard. That's insane. I've got one of the guys on Facebook, and he's always in character on Facebook. I can't assume those like, fuck man, that's all right.
There's two people. There's Mike and there's Graf. Like they're totally. There's no real connection to them in any real way. He's got his alter ego in Graf, and he really plays it up. But they're so entertaining, and that's I think that's going to be a big thing for you going forward as well. Is that you've got the whole entertainment factor in your gig, like most times with death metal, there'd be a lot of lads, there'd be a few moshing or whatever. Most lads would be standing there watching it. But when you go to Party Cannon gig and you see lads are beating each other up with inflatable hammers and sharks and whatnot, you're just like, this is just great. Like,
so man, I think that's going to be a good way for people who aren't into death metal, that don't know any like death metal, to get into it. Because I can totally understand if you're like a marginalized member of society and you see bands singing about killing women and things like that, I can understand why you probably wouldn't want to be part of that. It's like, oh, maybe it won't give us a chance because I don't always doesn't seem that tolerant. Mm-hmm. But if you see a band like Party Cannon, like, oh, I'll check them out, and they play bro death metal, like, oh, cool. Actually, I do like this music. I just never get a chance before. Mm-hmm. So I mean, I don't believe we don't water down the bro death metal sound in any way to fit the logo or anything. So it is like the pure experience like bro death metal. But I feel the barrier that is like the image and kind of shock factor kind of isn't there. Yeah. So I think a lot more people might get into it that way. So it'll be a good kind of gateway. So it'll be quite entertaining. So people might start Party Cannon, then get Devourment, then get like Gorgasm, Fiasai, things like that.
Like what death metal band would start off their Facebook status by "Dear Slam Friends"? Like,
yeah.
What? Any other band done that, they'd be laughed at. But that's the beauty of Party Cannon, and that's why it's going to be next year is going to be a big year for you.
Like, thanks, man. There's quite a few things we've got planned that haven't been announced, but
yeah,
I think we were talking about it earlier. We've got Bloodstock again.
Yeah.
Got Manor Fest. We've got a few like kind of headline gigs of our own. Got some more fests that haven't been announced yet. That'll be good, man. We're getting back to Europe quite a bit, and we're going to America. That's not been announced as well, but it's going to be a third
very
American
good.
tour.
Oh, that'd be great. And I wanted to touch on Mannerfest actually, because that's kind of, I know it was initially for happening in 2020. I heard about it because the Irish Boys 10 Ton Slug were a part of the lineup. But that's really taken on a whole new life now the last couple of years. Like there's some big bands announced for that. Like,
Toy, man. Like Rotten Christ and Accept, Overkill. I never thought in my life I'd play a gig with Overkill.
Except Candlemass.
Like,
It's like fucking. It's really, really shaping up to be something like.
Toy, man. Often, like I know I said this before, but often when you see gigs like that kind of come out of nowhere in the UK, you're always like, oh, it's gonna get cancelled. But like I did a live stream recently. It's like, oh, it's selling really well. Campervan tickets sold out. It's like an open air place. But I looked into it more, and they've done a bunch of Mannerfests, and it's good. The guy who booked this, I think his name was Wayne. He's a really nice guy. He was at Damnation. He was awesome. I'm really surprised he asked us to play, but he seems to really like the band. He enjoyed us at Damnation. Yeah, it'll be good. It'll be an interesting one. There's a lot of bands I never expect us to play with, like you're saying, like Accept, Candlemass, Rotten Christ, stuff like that. I'm really excited to see Overkill. Like Overkill, like a great band. Like I really like that band. Like Didi Verny, like he's an amazing bass player and stuff. But fuck, I didn't expect Party Cannon to play Overkill. Or I was like, why is it? What universe are we in where you can watch Accept and Party Cannon and Candlemass in the one weekend?
Yeah, man. When you were 19, starting the band up, you probably never thought that would be happening. Anyway.
No, when we started, like my goal was to play Europe like twice, then probably fuck it, do something else.
Yeah.
So I didn't think I would actually be into it that much because I was always into like really underground like bands like Human Rejection and stuff. Like Cerebral Bore were like a big band for me because they were like from Glasgow and they're a band like doing like all these tours. But I saw how DIY it was and how kind of there was still plenty of people, but they played gigs like 50 people a night. Play a fest, and then like a few hundred people. I kind of thought that was like stealing for this kind of music because back in like 2008, 2009 when I got into it, slamming death metal wasn't like a known thing. It was only known to people who were like into that, like people who trolled MySpace for it. But now it's taken on the life of its own. It's kind of going out a bit. So now we're playing Mannerfest.
Yeah, and you've got. Shit. Yeah, sorry. I've had a bit of a brain freeze there. I'm kind of thinking over.
I know I'm feeling well.
No, you recently turned 30, like, and I suppose it's going to be. I suppose the next, like, I thought the 30s were the best era of my life anyway. Personally, I'm out on them now, but say, man, like, we're going into the 30s now with Party Cannon and all you've got coming up. Like, I think this could be. We could very really be in for a good run, like.
That's what I'm hoping, man. I'm hoping to start with 30s kind of strong. Yeah, because I mean, I'm sure everyone's the same. Like in your 20s, you kind of find your feet. You kind of find out what's going on. Like I went to university. I got a job as like a scientist. I had a degree in microbiology. And that all kind of fell through. Like from being a teenager to that point in my life, that's what I assumed I was going to do. Then that kind of fucked up. I was like, fuck, what am I going to do? So I ended up like, going through a bunch of career changes. Then I found something better. And I never expected to be in that position. But I was obviously it comes with a whole lot of stress. Like, am I ever going to afford a house? Am I ever going to afford this? Like, I'm fucking 25 and I'm broke and I'm fucking working part time and just things like that. But I was quite lucky because while that was all happening, I still had the band. So I'm like, fuck, this is all going terrible, but at least I get to play like 100 people on a Saturday night. So I was always kind of like a motivating factor. It kind of gave you some kind of purpose to keep kind of going. Cool. Well, this sucks. This is good. Eventually this will work out and I can keep doing this. And when it does work out for me in some capacity, this will be a bit bigger and then I can enjoy both at the same time. But yeah, something. So happy to be 30. It's weird to be 30 and playing a death metal band, but it's good, man. It's going to be interesting. Someone said to me recently, 30s with no kids is like 20s with money. So kind of
perfect. That's the perfect analogy for it. Like, and plus as well, like you've got the band established, you'd be a lot more business savvy as well. In the past, you might have taken a gig for shit money, where now you'd be like, oh, come on, like.
No, absolutely, man. Fees have been pretty good recently. They've definitely gone up. For a while now, we've been in the fortunate position where the band funds itself. So if we were going to like Europe to play a gig, it would come out of my pocket anymore. Like the band would just get paid and I would cover it. I wouldn't make any money personally, but that's not really the goal, like Rule Death Metal. I just wouldn't lose any money. Whereas also in the early days, like when I was like 1920, we'd drive to like fucking England, get paid like 30 quid. We'd all have to like chip in for money and stuff, petrol stuff. It was fun. We just kind of did it that way. But as time went on, obviously that's not sustainable. So you kind of find other ways to make money. I would guarantee, you know what to say to promoters and stuff, and you can justify it as well that we've done these gigs. These people come to see us. You can see our presence on social media. Cool. We justify it, price raise up. But yeah, good man. It's good.
Yeah, but on the flip side of that, when you're a young lad coming up and you're making a band's name, like you just have to forget about money for at least maybe 5 years, don't you? Realistically,
Yeah.
you just have to just say we're either fucking going for this now, or we're going home. Like there's no point in thinking you're going to get paid initially. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, man. Yeah. The problem quite a few bands I had when I was talking to them, like they'd turn up the gigs without any kind of like prior agreement, and then you'd be like, "Oh, we only got paid £20." Like, how much did you agree to get paid? Like, oh, we didn't really talk about that. But it's kind of shit. You got paid £20 if you've not really kind of had that conversation with the promoter. What are you meant to do? Because obviously, if you went, we need £80 for fuel, he can put that into his pricing. Yeah, I'm not like shitting on the lower band. I'm not saying promoters are always right, but it's give and take. There's both sides here. I mean, also if you're like a band starting out, they can't be like, I need £150 straight away. Like why? Like why would I pay you that? Like who the fuck are you? Like,
Exactly.
what you need? Well, I do believe all bands should be paid and should have the cost covered. You need to bring something to the table as well. Like if you're like traveling to London and you have like no name at all, no one in London is going to come see you. How is the poor meant to pay you? So it's kind of give and take. Like you need to push yourself. You need to make yourself a marketable entity. You need to fucking make your band profitable way.
Yeah, but it's working now anyway. And as you said, you've told me a few things here tonight that the US, obviously it hasn't been announced yet, but going back to America and stuff, like that's going to be some adventure, isn't it? Like, will it be a full scale tour or will it be a short tour?
It's going to be a full scale, like 18 nights straight in America. So as the biggest one yet, man. We've done like 11-day tours, like 14-day tours in America, but it's not going to be like breaks and stuff. There's going to be like fest in between, but it's 18 days straight, and it's going to be good. It's a little bit different bill for us as well. I can't give too much away. The bands we're playing with are a bit more tech-diffy, a bit more melodic. So we're still like brutal bands, but I think we're going to sonically stand up quite a bit. And it's going to be a really good tour package. It's going to have a full spectrum of sounds in it, full spectrum of different bands. I think some people are going to go for one band, hear us, like, what the fuck is this?
They might love it though, especially if you get the word out about the whole inflatables and encourage people to bring as much crazy shit as possible. Like, has anyone ever brought a fucking dinghy, like a boat, like to your one of your?
No, yeah, though, man. We've had people bring like fucking foam penises, blow up dolls, and things like that. Fucking people come in like random makeup and shit. Full scale onesies, like dinosaur suits and things. So that's always good. But dinghy's a new one. I've seen the guy from Rammstein do that before, so that's a goal for a future goal, man.
Yeah, we'll play a bit of the latest single now, but before we go, I want to touch on you're also a part of the Raised by Owls Do You Know It's Christmas charity single as well.
Yeah, our singer Stoney was part of that.
Yeah, that was great, man. That was like I think when it came to all the lockdowns, I would rate Raised by Owls as one of the MVPs because the amount of videos them guys put out, even though everything was locked down, it was just there'd be weeks you'd be really just sitting around the house. Oh, jeez. The next thing, a new Raised by Owls video. Yes, this is going to be good.
I mean, you just blew my mind there a little bit. That's like a year ago. Honestly, I can't believe it was a year ago already. Like, as soon as you mentioned that, it's like, fuck, I felt like it just happened. But no, like, the Raised by Owls guys are amazing. I know Sam really well. And Lee, like, fucking, they really saved the lockdown for a lot of people. I was working from home the whole time, and just being able to fucking put their videos on in the background, just kind of see it go. Like, it's always like, it was definitely like a brightening thing in a day. Like, you're getting insane views on things. All the videos getting like 110,000 views on Facebook and things. Mm-hmm. It's good, man. The rate they turned it out as well was insane, and it was like mostly quality stuff as well. Like, kind of well thought out. So it wasn't just like, it was like production value as well. It wasn't just a guy talking at camera. Mm-hmm. So it was good, man. It's good. The guy's really good. I saw Sam and the guitar player, I think his name's Alex. Damnation as well, which is there. It's always good to see him.
One of my favorites of their videos was having a festival in your back garden.
Yeah,
Going to a festival in your back garden, should I say? That was just like I'm a bit of a festival veteran. I go to at least one outdoor festival every year without fail, and they just absolutely nailed that so well. You know, the lad going around with the PlayStation 2 selling you drugs, like, you know, it's just like, oh, this is perfect. Like
what I did was, if you're the bartender at a slam gig, and it was like, it's just like this image, this video of this guy, like he's like waiting tables, he's hitting stuff, like there's like a slam band playing in the background, and his band was called something like Anal Leakage at Nando's. Like, that doesn't even sound that far off like bands I've fucking played with.
Yeah, that was cool. But I want to touch on something actually. Here there was the UK had Raised by Owls with a charity single, but here in Ireland, all the Irish musicians, there's 3 albums in all. They've done the All Ireland Metal Project.
Oh, holy shit, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's like a Roadrunner United type thing.
Yeah, that's gonna be a question, man. It's like that.
Yeah, they're basically, long story short, I have a page called Burning Metal, obviously, and I put up a post one night, you know, like everyone in the Irish scene is stuck at home, like maybe would anyone want to think about doing this? And Dara O'Connor from Horrenda and Aborted Earth just jumped on it. And there's going to be 3 full albums out of this now, all Irish girls, lads, everything, working on
awesome.
Sending in their parts to the same studio. And it's absolutely brilliant as well, man. It's a fantastic album, and there's 2 more to come. Like,
that's a fucking great idea as well, man. And is that all for charity as well?
Yeah, Bernardo's charity as well, yeah. So I just wanted to touch on that because, you know, like, give the Raised by Owls their little bit of a thumbs up, and the boys in Ireland done the same thing as well too, which is great to see. But we'll knock on a bit of nauseating and unpalatable for. I also put on a bit of the song at the end.
The second song for the new album.
There we go.
Your road boys.
The second song for the new album that's coming out next year.
And these people are doing push-ups.
I was filmed on very good. No, I was like the first no restrictions metal tour in the UK since COVID. As guest from Ross Street from Blue. Good coming out with me in the studio. Ross from Exum comes in.
Well, there's fucking one of yes.
Something like that. Something like that. It's way ahead.
I,
check this
I
out.
don't know where to stop it, and we got a bit of an impromptu playthrough in there as well too. Why not?
Yeah, check this out, man. I got an endorsement from this company a few years ago. So a fully custom bass made for Wacom guitars. Look at that. Adobe Play bass and everything, but looks fucking nice.
That's a lovely bass, man. To be honest, that's a really, really nice bass. Like, is that your kind of home one, or do you bring it out and tour or stuff, or do you have your tour and stuff? Or
Yeah, I've started playing it live. Basically, a few years ago, I got endorsement from a company called. This will all be announced in the next like week or so. But I got endorsement from a company called Waghorn, which is like a UK-based guitar and bass manufacturer. It's all handmade by this guy called Tom, and yeah, he gave me endorsement. So I got a full custom bass made. So that is completely done to my specs. I designed the body shape, got all the woods made and stuff. Next into my like liking and things, because I'm like, extremely picky when it comes to instruments. I'm like, if I have all this money, I don't want to spend on something I don't want to play or has something that kind of doesn't fucking vibe with me. So I figured I was just on my own, talk to this guy. And yeah, he was into it. It's awesome. Like, I don't even know in Bloodshot Dawn, but Josh from that band, he's endorsed by him as well. He put me in touch, and it's been great. It's been great. So, full statement of that will be coming out in the next few weeks. Start playing it live. Damnation was the first gig of it. It sounded fucking awesome. Really happy with that went.
then, of course, you had the Eradication Festival there as well too recently.
Yes, that was last weekend. We played minus one guitar player because he had gastroenteritis or something. But yeah, it was good. It's good. Eradication is always good. We booked that like 2 years ago, and it finally happened last weekend. That was good to know.
Yeah, man, it's crazy, isn't it? But look, and it's going to be a big year for Party Cannon next year. I'm fairly sure of that. Like, you know,
Oh, man.
you've got the Gore House thing behind you. You've got vinyl coming out. You're making videos. You've got the cat thing going on. The logo,
Yeah.
everything. Like, you've got Manor Fest. You've got Bloodstock, of course. You're headlining a festival on the 29th and the 1st of April and the 1st of May. I can't remember the name of it now, but
Yep, Southwest Heavy Fest.
Southwest, that's also, and you've already
1914. Yeah, that'll be good, man.
and you've already touched on the American thing and everything. Like, man, this is going to be a. Well, best of luck to you, man, and best of luck with the job interview you had the other day as well, man.
That was weird, man. I was sort of promotion in the place I work for, but I got interviewed by a robot, so that was kind of weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really basically as a work for government, so I don't know how much I can actually say about this, but they have like a training academy now, and I had a bunch of like team leader roles. There's like 30 positions, so I think instead of interviewing like 90 people for 30 positions, you just go with a robot to do it. So it's really strange, man. So basically, I'd watch this video, and this lady would ask me a question, then I'd just answer the question watching a video of myself, and I would just record me, then I'd just upload the video. And it's just really weird. It's really
That's
bizarre.
crazy shit, man. That's like weird as fuck. Like,
I know, it's really off-putting just watching yourself. Like, everyone who goes in the job interview, as like you put on like a character that's not yourself. So seeing yourself do that is like,
welcome to the metaverse.
yeah, fuck this, man. It's hurting my brain.
Jeez, man, I'm glad I'm a carer and I can only do a bit of part-time hours and I won't have to be dealing with fucking robots in interviews.
It's so bizarre, man. I don't rate it. I really don't rate it.
Jesus, anyway. And on that unusual note, we shall leave it at that. And Remember, keep partying hard, and keep the party cannon thing going.
Cheers, man. Thanks for having me on. It's been a
And when they
pleasure.
come to Ireland next year, get your fucking shit together and bring all the plastic things you can find: hammers, inflatable dolls,
Oh, yeah,
bowls, bring it all.
Definitely, man.
100%.
Good.
And thanks very
Last
much for
one,
doing
please.
this again, man. I said at the start, but you know, getting someone a band of your level for the first UK podcast for me is a fucking big thing, man. And thank you very much for that.
Nope, thanks for asking, man. It's appreciated that you want to talk to us. So it's all good. Thanks a
Great
lot.
stuff. Thank you very much, sir. Come on.
Peace, man.